1st. 41.86 was the close on August 5th. That was the yen carry trade freak out David was mentioning. Now we're back to roughly 5,500. Complete round trip here. Same with the CBOE volatility index, the VIX, only it's inverse. Complete round trip, same period, 15 to 60 on that day, August 5th, and back to 15. Round trip here. This has all happened while the market sentiment has remained mostly neutral, which may be surprising to you. One investor sentiment gauge, the weekly survey of investors for the American Association of Individual Investors, is largely neutral. During periods of euphoria here, bullish levels, you see here 42%, they typically go into the low 50s when euphoria is high. So a reading in the low 40s is well below any kind of euphoria. I'm calling this neutral. Let's look at other measures of the market. The fact that earnings growth estimates are holding up is critical here. Inflation is trending lower. Interest rates are rate cuts are expected. Growth is slowing, no recession. And the S&P 500 earnings growth right now, really critical, 10% for 2024, 15% in 2025. That's very little changed in recent months. True revenue growth is not as strong as we would like, and much of the reason earnings are holding up is just cost cutting. That and the need for more revenues is a big issue, but that is a 2025 issue. So regardless of what's going on right now, look at those, what I just showed you there. Inflation moderating, growth slowing, but no recession apparent, interest rate cuts coming, earnings still holding up. Folks, that is the definition of the soft landing. If none of this impresses you and you're still skeptical, here is Walmart's CFO, John David Rainey, telling us this morning on a CNBC interview. In this environment, it's responsible or prudent to be a little bit guarded with the outlook, but we are not projecting a recession. There it is. So what is remarkable to me is the most improbable of things have happened. We were talking about a hard landing in October 2022. Remember the recession that was imminent? We were down 20% at the end of 2022 on the imminent recession that was coming that never came. Then the Fed started aggressively raising rates, and we were a year ago talking about the imminent recession that was coming out of that. And yet, the soft landing through all of this has simply remained, and that has been what has actually been happening. I think it's most improbable of outlooks. It's remarkable to me, but here is the data that supports it. It's in front of our face. I keep waiting for earnings cuts. They don't come. 10% this year, 15% next year. Yes, you can say, oh, there's a lot of cost cutting, but the bottom line is still holding up. I think it's a remarkable story. I think the skeptics people should be skeptical about the whole thing, but it's worked. Soft landing is real.